everyone, akoi Doordarshan Manipur na paring nai na sandok chaba akoi ge learning English grammar ge anouba episode amada mayam pumna mukpu taram na okcheri koi mangi episode ta koi na ukre different uses of comma si makhal mathel karama mong da sizina bage haibagi matang da akoi sugaina neina kre koi hojik makha tarak poina akoi comma sizina matam da akoi na section gadaba akoi gi warol khara akoi mem yengminasi maramdi comma si lana sizinaba kayama akoi yaudaba nate aduna karma matamda akoi comma sizina roidabano haibadu akoi mem yengminasi ahanbada akoi na yengba yabsi kaino hai kan state da akoi na sentence ama irakpa matamda akoi gi sentence ki subject aduga predicates legani akoi mamang de am naina khrabani mamangi akoi gi grammar gi teachings mem je koi na subject si kaino predicates kaino haina koi naina khrabani aduna subject si masi magi subject si compound oiba subject si ama khakta nataba subject si ama dagi henba subject si ani obe ohum obe adubu verb amasung magi action di pulap ama khakta da verb amagi subject ama khak oiba o amom da haigana predicate ti ama khak oiba ko adubu hairiba subject ti akoi ama dagi henba or pamatamda which I term as compound subjects aduna compound subjects si akoi seasonal pamatamda hairiba compound subjects si anikhak oitaragadi masi compound subject adugi marakta aikoina comma si seasonal yaroi and conjunction si seasonal gani example pirpma tamda dom gyan tabigani for example akoi tomba and chauba went to swim haiba sidaida akoi comma si makhan sidaida hapsan ba yai ko adu aje aina piriba sentence yengbiu tomba comma and chauba comma went to swim haibasidaida tombaga chaubaga iroiba chatkhri haisidaida akoi masida compound subjects ama akoina uba phange tombaga chaubaga si compound subject ni adu subject sigi mokoi anina toriba verb si keno went ko to swim sini ko chatlaga iroiba chatkhre haisini ko adan sidaida akoina uba si compound masigi compound subject si akoina masi separate to matamda aina haijab si keno kanda we should never use a comma si akoi sizinabam thokte when there are only two subjects as a compound subjects for example oji kis daida subject ani punjal kanda compound subject ama oira kan daida action ama khaktang predicate ama khaktang oiribani masi kaino I can tombaga chawbaga se aduna tombaga chawbaga si separate tokma tamda conjunction and has insufficient order. We don't have to use comma here. Masi comma si koina hapsan matamda it will be an error, grammatical error oidvineba. Aduna chum masi kaino tomba and chauba no comma at all. Tomba and chauba went to swim. Masi daida masi na achumba without any error yaudaba aranba yaudaba sentences si oiduneba aduna kaubibi ade akoi compound subject hai targadi subject si amadigi henba ko masigi compound hai si artha si mam ningsing biro adu masi hek henba matamda magi matungda lakpa predicate se amakak oiba matamda mokoi ani si separate tokpa matamda comma sizinaroi masi and have a conjunction je koina sizinagani haibani adige mo koi makhata na example kharaga ai pijage I bought a new computer and used it to write my novel sidaida yengsiko incorrect oibasi comma si hapsale sidaida I bought a new computer comma adi matungda and conjunction am lae ko and used it to write my novel aina novel ibada ai anoba computer se ai seasonal haine sidaida masi comma hapasi hapuidabani adi mota and haiba conjunction je masi seasonal khrabni na kadwe kana haidiba compound subject si it should not be separated with any other comma na separate tawroi it's already separated by a conjunction ko and haiba conjunction jina separate tawkreba achumba si kamai oigani I bought a new computer and used it to write my novel aina anoba computer amas leire aduga aina novel inanaba aigi novel ibada ai seasonare haise this is the right grammatically a right sentence si oidune however adumakpu hairiba compound subject si anidagi helakpa taragadi ko masi anidagi helakpa taranga saigi tomba and chauba went to swim haibasida tomba chauba aduga misak ama henjale khalase for example thoibi kauba misak ama moi irui bachat pasida ma su yoksale khalase aduna hairiba compound subject se ahum sure aduna hairiba si matang sidadi kai lakane hakanda tomba of course comma ko adagi amuk chauba and thoibi went to swim hai laane ko aduna ahum surakpa matamda kedawe hakan sida of course we will use ngasagi comma se ko seasoner ne ba kamaina tomba comma chauba and thoibi went to swim. I bought a new computer, comma, set it up in my office and used it to write my novels. Deida ama mo hape kaino set it in my office habsi mo hapsal ngasagi sentence ngasai mamang da koina kano tokiba example do deida ngasai example do ne kaino I bought a new computer and used it to write my novel habsi deida I bought a new computer, I set it in my office habsi anoba phrase ama hapsale ko asi and used it to write my novel adun sidaida akoi comma sentence ani sidaida comma amu hape why kaigino ha kan sidaida ngasai compound subject se amadagi ani ormadagi ahum or pamatam da hairiba compound sentence mem singje ahum thokpanina masi separate tor pamatam da of course last key compound subject adu the kaina separate tore hakanda ngasai conjunction and sina separate to targasu mamangi ahambaga anigagi leiba adugumba subject ani si kaina separate to gadage hakan sida comma na separate to gani haibani ko makata na akoi muk yeng minasi akoina subordinate clause seasonable matamda akoi comma is seasonable subordinate clauses is kaino haikanda because kumba, since kumba, or as kumba. Si ma'am sing kaino they are called the subordinate clause. Ko subordinate clauses si koi na khange mamang da koi clause different kinds of clause ma'am naina krabane do ai kitang panjarabada subordinate clauses are a type of dependent clause. Dependent clause ni haibadi marumdom lepangam mamang da yaw kiba natra matung da lakadoriba magi hairiba clause tugi matungina magi meaning si lep kadoriba ni ko aduna subordinate clauses are a type of dependent, not independent, dependent clause that modify another independent clause. Ko aduna hairiba masigi subordinate clause sing sibu karina begin to ge kan stada with a subordinate coordinating subordinating conjunctions ko subordinating conjunctions ji haije kibuduni kaino akanda ngasagi because adagi since or as haije ngasagi subordinate conjunctions aduna subordinate clauses irakpa matamda subordinate conjunction sizinagani and subordinate conjunction sizinaba matamda akoi comma se koi sizinaro havne in haise example yeng minasi I stayed home from school comma because I was sick have say it's grammatically incorrect sentence kaigino I can say the subordinate koi masida koi urse kaino subordinating conjunctions ngasai pangiu mem sing because haibasi yaw sida because katanate since as na chingba mem sing si akoi subordinating conjunction ni the hairiba subordinating conjunction si akoi subordinate clause amabu subordinate akoi gi independent clause amaka join to matam na sizina ba adugumba conjunction dubu kai koge kanda subordinating conjunction ai kawe and the hairiba subordinating conjunction sina matam da we should not use a comma se question roidabne amuka aranba hojiki sentence umtang yengbiyo muka yengko I stayed home from school I school lagi yumda I halae comma because I was sick masidaida because haibasi yaubunina masi comma se koi yauroidabne habne achumbasi comma yaudana I ucharake yengbiyo I stayed home from school because there's no comma ko comma yaudre because I was sick I naruba maramna I school lagi yumda halae yumda stay tawre yumda leire haisi kaido boino I can because I was sick I say masi akoi no uri ko aduna masidaida akoi subordinating conjunction sigi mamang da comma se akoi leiru dabne aduna masini these are some few rules and regulations of using commas. Comma si karamba matam sizinagdage mamangi episode ta nainagre adu kari matangda sizinaroi dagi aranba mongda kamai sizinabage haibasi yengkhar matung staida mathangi gi punctuation laktinge mamangda. Let me just give you a gist summary on commas. Commas ki summary aten bamtang nainaki ma'am sing do ma'am da mo ana brush up tawna bidamta ayamtang haizarake. Commas are used to break up different parts of a sentence. Comma si a short pause aten ba lep na ba aduga sentence ki makhan maten khaidok na ba sentence matup naina khaidok na bagi damakta akoina sizina ba adugumba punctuation amani. Commas allow someone to make sense of what they are reading. Hada hairiba comma sina moina iribsi moina paribsi ko iraga leirimiba moina pariba material asi hena hena art to unba hena easily understandable when we say comma sina oily haini ko adigi commas occur where ideas are grouped to make it easier to understand these ideas. Comma sina kaidawi idea se category or categorize taroga thamba maramna ai apaba mina masi o sina si group ni sina si group ne has easily understandable or nanabagi damukta comma si seasonay. Adagi it may be helpful to think of comma as places where a reader might draw breath. Ko haidi basi comma si kaigino hai kan stay da ya maru oi bisi kan kan da koina papa matam da ai koi si source si honana bagi koi reader si bu comfortably masin nuksa source hondo honjin taunana bagi damakta naktang exercise haija khibdune a short pause naktang lepaga ai koi so honana bagi damakta adugumba technique adugumba punctuation amani piba adu technique piba adugumba punctuation amani makatana. The comma forms a natural place in a sentence where the reader can pause and to make sense of an idea. Ko ngaktang lepaga wakan khananabagi o si gyan o si oire haisi koina gyan tananabagi khananabagi adugumba mafam amani haibsu yai. As a comma signifies a pause, it follows natural speech pattern. Ko koi naturally koi breathing in breathing out si koi naturally koi tawbugumna koi larik paba matamda natural oiba mongda akoina pabsi ngamhananabagi damakta adugumba oihalleba akoi hairiba punctuation comma sinako makata na akoi mem yengminasi. After we have discussed about commas akoi punctuation mem nainerko matam staida akoi periods nainakre the commas nainer matung staida. Now we will talk about question mark se koi mem yengminasi mem tang khanbiu ne koine iramiba kano paba matamda punctuation mark se am ho leram dring khalune akoi kamai tawgadage akoi hairibase akoi kemu gyan ta daba yai. Of course we can get a gist of what the author wants to convey, but exactly mana cunningly ba mana khalanningi ba mana uningi ba kaino haibse it will be very hard for us to understand the whole the ideas or the mana phungdok ni musi fully akoida comprehend to ba understand to ngamoi ba akoina hairiba punctuation marks sing se yawm da taragadi aduna makhata na koi mem yengminasi punctuation mark question mark si kaino question mark ai masi maming sina koi tae madu kaino kan sentence wahang hangba aduguma sentence ama oi taragadi masigi mage aroi bada kayawani question mark se koi ugani. Question mark is sometimes interrogation point or interrogation mark hainus kawi. Question mark is interrogation point or interrogation hainus kawi. Ado masi kudamoy na harbada ay example kar pizage how are you question mark. Ang kamdauri ge haibsi question mark na loy gani. Is the test on Friday? Test se Friday dara the question mark ni. She asked me where is the closest petrol pump? Khwaidagi anakpa petrol pump si krai lege mana hangai question mark ni. When will the train come? Train si kam kanda lakaduino question mark ni. So sige sentence mayam sing si koina ursi kaino hai kan da these are the sentences that ask questions and each of these sentence ends with a mark ko masi mark si kaino question mark ni, and this is a punctuation question mark or interrogation point or interrogation mark haibsina masida loishalle ko aduna aikoi gi English ki language asidaida aikoi gi punctuation mark ahum khak lei hairiba mark ahum sidna utlip si kaino haikan staida sentence si loishan ba matam da sijina ba sentence si loire haina phongdok pa matam da sijina ba mark ahum khaktang lei mark mayam punctuation mark mayam ma ai mamang da khoi list ama pi khrabani adu matungena one by one khoi nainare bani ado hairiba punctuation mark mayam singi marakta mark punctuation mark ahum khaktani that indicates that the sentence is over. This is the end of the sentence. Haibasi ahum si kai no hai kan stay da ngasai gi periods or full stop haina su khangna ba adigi matungda aikoi exclamatory marks ko akoi angak pa phongdok gi mark aduga hojik nainariba question marks haisane aduna hairiba ahum masigi punctuation marks are the only 3 punctuation marks which we use to end a sentence ko adu atopa atai punctuation marks sing sidi ko sentence ko lotion ba sijina de adu sigi hairiba ahum ko gi periods exclamatory marks as well as question marks are the only 3 punctuation marks that are used to end a sentence ko masida ko na sijina aduna aikoina haije khibani example khara pijage now hojiki kano sidaida hairiba ahum se ngasai gi periods ne exclamatory marks ne exclamation points haizu hai aduga question mark haibasi ahum se yauba a sentence amaka aikoi ahum gak yengminasi ko she is 8 years old full stop masi kaino a simple plain statement or declarative sentence amani chamchamba sentence amani truth achumba ma phongdokpa sidida suggestion am pibusunate wahang ama hangbusunate adu angakpa phongdokpusunate just a simple plain declarative sentence she is 8 years old mahak chahi nipan sure hai ko full stop na loi masidida adu masije exclamation point yauragadi masi kamaina irakane ha kanda she is 8 years old she is 8 year old hasi akoina ngangbo matamdadi chamcham na ngangmodagi ma emotion khara add toraka ngangpo matamda akoi mai se ngakpani phongdok angakpa phongdo ini haiba yaiba adu in writing dadi akoina khara ngakpa phongdo ise magi angang se yam wang basina 8 years ne thajada ba haitare example ni koi haije se adu sidaida she is 8 years old she is 8 year old haibasi man emotion je phongdok ko matamda masi akoina exclamatory mark se koina iba targadi ma angakpa phongdo ine she among the I couldn't believe that she is 8 years old haibudune ai thajadi ma je chahini pan sure se haibasi mana phongdokpa matamda akoina ngangba matamdadi akoi masi expression yauraga ngangmanina ma je ngai haiji phongdokpa whereas in writings masi akoina kamaina phongdokkadige hakanda by using an exclamatory marks ko admai tawdana same sentence no changes adu hairiba punctuation marks kadang hongma matamda we can very easily express the emotion of the writer ko magi hairiba magi punctuation marks hongma matam state question marks sinar ko khoyeng si is she 8 years old question mark ko sidai ko no urisi kai no hai kan state mark chahi ni pan sur bro haibasi question mark na loisal aduna aikoina question marks haisi kaino hai kanda wahang hangba matamda akoi sijinabdune I don't have to talk a lot about it akoi loin khangna rabang haktene aduga loina na akoi question makal mayam jinge marakta amakak aikoina day to day life ta yam toina sijinaba aikoina question di hangaga the question we ask not to get an answer but to emphasize a point ko karigumba point ama akoina emphasize tawna nabagi damakta akoina hangba wahang ko effect to make assertion or affirmation nang chumabani ai haise soidrabani haibasi phongdok payaba adugumba question di oiba adu question je hangi mongse nang question answer phangna nabagi damakta hangba question nataba adu ai haise chumabani assert toba affirm toba nangonda adugumba emphasize tawna bidong ta hangba wahang or pomatamdasu masi koisi masibu technically kai koge kanda rhetorical questions hana kowe rhetorical questions ainabu mafam adu chatte bro haiji question ni adu ai sungsoi soidana adum chatle haine ko aduna aina bu chara hele hebro hai se ka ai chara sungin hindi hai ne ko aduna hai be athdi ken hai kan stay da masi question di hangba adubu we don't ask to get the answer but we ask to affirm or confirm or assert tawna bugi damakta akoi hangba question ji hangba matam da su ke question mark se sizna ga ne ko aduna rhetorical questions which we don't actually expect an answer also use question marks. For example, what does the future hold for us? Nobody can say. Future da kari or kadoi no hai ba se kanamba khangde hai si kaino I can say the what does the future hold for us? Hai si question dugi answer do hangning bai na te ai khangde hai ne no one knows kanamba khangde hai ne aduga chap manana has there ever been a more perfect day for a picnic than today? Ngasi gi numit si nataba ko sidagi hen mapung phaba picnic ki damakta mapung phaba numit atei numit lai khrabrane haisi keno kanda sigi numit chimu phajaba picnic chatna bagi damakta masigi numit sidagi hena mapung phaba phajaba laitre haine. Okay, so has there ever been a more perfect day for a picnic than today? Go adun state ko ursi keno these are questions asked not to get answer but to assert something ko masi soidrabani sini sinumit sini haisi phongdok na bagi dang ta hangiba question ne masi question je hangba matam da su kai da we hai kan state da akoi question marks season ga ne. For example atopa mo akoi yengba yai which is a little bit of negative oiba question oiba yai masi are you out of your mind nang bu kuk tu ngau ro bro na ku ngau nang bu ngau ro bro asi question akoi wari sanak pa matam da yam absurd oiba yam foolish oiba answer ma or mi mem na kanada ba kanom sa ngang thok pa matam kai nu nang ngau ro bro hai basi ken hai kan state da ngau de na khumak na bagi dam or ngau we na khumak na bagi yes or no na khumak na bagi dam ta hang ma question na te hai bidi nang du yadre nang wakan du yadre hai bagi assert to we ne adan si question ni but it's a rhetorical questions ko adubu rhetorical question oi targa su we take the question mark si koi season ga ne ko koi mem yeng mina se topa khara akoi yeng ba yab si kai no kan sometimes kari guma kanda akoi na request to ba matam da ko request to ba matam da which we request si kai no yamna polite oiba request yamna akoi gi yamna noluk paga loina akoi na request to matam da akoi na question season ne ko ko da mai na habada akoi question season abada akoi na hairiba question je kai da way hangino hangiba wang je kai gino akanda request ne ko adu request yamna polite oiba mongda question hangaga politely request to se sidadi akoi we will not use a question akoi question mark se akoi season roiba ko adu mohta akoi periods or full stop se akoi season ga ne amuka haijage there are questions which we ask somebody elderly oibe someone who can help us akoi request akoi na politely request to matam the question hangakanda akoi na polite request away adugumba polite request to matam da akoi kadawni haikanda we don't use the question mark but we use full stop or period or among the haigana masiken haikanda these polite requests go they are actually imperative sentence in disguised. Imperative sentence they koi kanomo request to buda koina saklon je lo la kanda disguised to kan state da o question di hangba adu hangim se manung da di koina request ama tawri ne. Okay aduna khudam na da can you sign here please hai je kaino nang tawba yabra yadabra du question hangba na te request polite request ne please kindly make your signature kindly sign here hai ne mai se ado se can you sign here comma please hai matam da question mark iroi si je why there is no question mark kai you know I can it's a polite request in the form of a question which is not really a question which is of the haigana which is an imperative sentence disguised as a question ko imperative sentence ni it's a imperative sentence disguised in the form of a question ko haibdi akoi sentence se akoi request to bugi sentence amane ko sise adubu akoi question mal halaga hangine adu sigumba polite request by using questions si kana kanda si matungda ma akoi je question mark season roi adi mohta period natraga akhoi full stop se sizinagane ko aduna question khudikmak sing akhoi tone je akhoi na yengma matamda akhoi writer sina phongdu ise kaino haibse akhoi na mana sizinariba even if it's in the form of questions but if he has not used question mark but if he has used ko akhoi full stop natraga period sina targadi it's not a question it's a polite request to someone else masi akhoi na udu ne example ama akhoi yengba yai will the audience sit down now audience si phambi ba yagadra haiji ken mayam je mutang phambi ba yagadra haiji question ji yani ya roidum du khumo hai bana te phambi ba yagadra haiji it's a polite request ma'am the phambi ro chanbi duna lengchen bi ro hai ne okay ana khoi minute ani muktang aisale khoi na uba ya bsi keno I can say the polite request will the audience can you please kindly sit haiji chanbi duna phambi ba yagadra haiji phambi ro hai ne ko aduna masi polite request ne adege mo khoi na yengba ya bsi keno I can the question marks ka question mark si atopa punctuation mark ka seasoner bada kai akoina khenaba kai kamaina tawgadage haibsi akoi matamsu akoi losalak amina mathangi aikoigi episode ta akoi mem yengminagador si kaino I can the question marks and other punctuation marks akoi atopa punctuation mark ka loinana question marks si seasoner ba yabra yaragana karamba mongdano yadragana kari maram gi damakta akoi question mark siga atopa punctuation marks sizinaba si kamaina sizinagadoino natragana sizinaroidoino haibsi matangda mathangi episode ta khomyam yengminagani ngasi gi damakti matang sida mayamdagi kaina nabagi yathangduni jage